Good evening. This is STV News. The Japan Confederation of Atomic Bomb Victims, a national organization of bomb survivors, criticizes Japan for not participating in the nuclear weapons ban treaty that came into effect. Ms. Michiko Kodama, who was exposed to the atomic bomb in Hiroshima City, and the Deputy Secretary General of the Union Cooperative said, "Japan is still turning its back. I am sorry." She also asked the president to join the treaty. Kodama, who had a press conference in Tokyo on the 21st, emphasized, "I would like to report to many survivors who died the treaty came into effect and rejoice." Seiko Wada, the Deputy Secretary General of the atomic bombing in Nagasaki, pointed out that the power of nuclear weapons is not justice. And I think that by participating in the treaty, Japan can send a strong message as an atomic bomb country. Akira Kawasaki, a 52-year-old International Steering Committee member of the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, who attended the meeting and said, "The entry into force will create political, economic, and social pressure on nuclear weapons. I want to work to reach 100 countries." At a party meeting on the 22nd, Kumeito Representative Natsuo Yamaguchi said that the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which came into effect, should be the direction in which Japan should ultimately create an environment in which it can ratify it. Mr. Yamaguchi first advocated the participation of Japanese observers in the conference of the parties. "We should take advantage of our position as the only country to be bombed and bridge the possession and non-possession countries to a world without nuclear weapons." The first international law banning the possession and use of nuclear weapons, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, came into effect. Before it came into effect, young people from Hiroshima and Nagasaki took the lead in launching the recommendation, Nuclear Weapons Ban Treaty Project, in an attempt to further broaden awareness of the treaty and interest in nuclear issues. Keita Takagaki, 18, one of the core members and the third-year high school students, said, "It is important for people who have never known or were not interested in the treaty to think about it." The project, which was launched by about 20 students and members of society living in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Tokyo, has been planning and preparing since the end of last year to boost the entry into force of the treaty. On the special website, a countdown to the entry into force and message from celebrities and bomb survivors are posted. An online talk event was also held in which project members also appeared. Mr. Takagaki is in charge of collecting messages and publicizing on Twitter. 75 years have passed since the atomic bombing, and as the atomic bomb survivors are aging, it is also important for the younger generation to inherit the thoughts of the atomic bomb survivors and those who have been active and pass them on to the next generation. Put your strength into it. Even after the treaty comes into effect, the project plans to continue activities such as sending a message to the abolition of nuclear weapons among young people and delivering the voices of bomb survivors. Mr. Takagaki renewed his determination. The treaty is the beginning of the end. It is more important than ever to appeal the citizen level so that a nuclear-free future becomes commonplace. Shigeru Kitamura, director of the National Security Bureau, held the first telephone conversation with the new U.S. National Security Advisor Sullivan on the 21st. Mr. Sullivan applied Article 5 of the Japan-U.S. Security Treaty, which stipulates the U.S. defense obligation to Japan by the new Biden administration to Okinawa Prefecture and the Senkaku Islands, and said, "I also disagree." Mr. Kitamura expressed his hope for expanding cooperation between Japan and the United States on the global issues such as strengthening the Japan-US alliance, realizing a free and open Indo-Pacific, economic security, and responding to the new coronavirus. This is the first public exchange between high-ranking security officials in Japan and the United States since the inauguration of the new U.S. administration. They also exchanged views on the regional situation, including China and North Korea, and agreed on the importance of the cooperation between the four countries of Japan, the United States, Australia, and India. Defense Minister Nobuo Kishi said at the press conference on the 22nd that U.S. President Joe Biden had nominated former Secretary of Defense Austin. "I would like to have an early meeting when I officially take office." Mr. Kishi emphasized, "I would like to further strengthen the deterrence and the coping power of the Japan-US alliance." Xi Jinping leadership of China based on the sea that defines the rules for use of weapons that are sure to continue to further enhance the sea. The CCG is already one of the largest maritime law enforcement agencies in the world and has become the de facto second navy by training jointly with the military. The threat to Okinawa Prefecture and the Senkaku Islands is increasing. The CCG has expanded rapidly in recent years. According to a Pentagon report last year, the number of CCG vessels with displacement of 1,000 tons or more than has surged from about 60 to more than 130 since 2020. The report analyzed it was overwhelmingly the largest and the second in the world. Many new ships such as large 10,000 tons class ships are capable of landing and landing helicopters and are equipped with weapons such as 30 to 76 mm cannons, had made it possible to navigate even in bad weather, leading to an increase in the frequency of activities around the Senkaku. At the House of Councilors plenary session on the afternoon of the 22nd, Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga said, "We have received responses from medical organizations that we would like to cooperate fully with the vaccination of the new coronavirus. For example, hospitals that do not accept new coronavirus patients, we will secure the necessary system, such as having the clinic cooperate." Regarding the special measures of the employment adjustment subsidy provided to companies that cooperated in maintaining employment, it is a political mission to firmly protect employment while many people are worried about their lives due to the corona disaster. We are adjusting in the direction, answer to Secretary General Kazuya Shimba of the Democratic Party for the People. At the cabinet meeting on the morning of the 22nd, the government will decide on 3 amendments to the Act on Special Measures for the new coronavirus, the Infectious Diseases Act, and the Quarantine Act. The pillars are imprisonment and fines for fines and hospitalization refusals for businesses that do not respond to leave or shorten business hours. It has also made it possible to give a certain degree of coercive force to the response of the national and local governments, such as recommendation to medical institutions to secure beds. The government and the ruling party will promptly enter into bill amendment talks with the opposition, and the focus will be on handling fines. It will be established in early February and will be enforced during the same month. Depending on the infection situation, the measures associated with the revision of the law may be applied immediately. At a press conference after the cabinet meeting on the 22nd, Minister of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism Kazuyoshi Akaba said that the number of foreign visitors to Japan in 2020 dropped by 87.1% from the previous year to 4.11 million. I can help, but I'm very sorry. In addition, based on the situation where the state of emergency has been reissued, he expressed his intention to make every effort to prevent the spread of infection. On the other hand, he pointed out that Japan has a wide range of nature, food, culture, art, and history that attracts tourists, and the level of public health is highly evaluated. In anticipation of the recovery of visitors to Japan in the future, he appealed to improve the reception environment in each region. The 2020 Average National Consumer Price Index released by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications on the 22nd was 101.5, a decrease of 0.2% from the previous year, excluding fresh foods with large price fluctuations. In addition to the low price of crude oil from the beginning of the year, it has been negative for the first time in 4 years since 2016 due to the decrease in accommodation charges due to the government support measure Go to Travel for tourism demand, which has fallen due to the spread of the new coronavirus infection. The Consumer Price Index for December 2008, which was announced at the same time, fell 1.0% year-on-year, marking the 5th straight month of negative growth. The yen exchange rate on the Tokyo foreign exchange market on the morning of the 22nd was small at the mid-103 yen level per dollar. Dollar buying was a little dominant due to the decline in investment motivation, due to the weak stock prices in Japan and the United States and the rise in the long-term interest rates in the United States. As of 11 a.m., the yen depreciated and the dollar strengthened by 0.6 yen from the previous day to 103.58 to 58 yen. The British Times concluded on the 21st that the Japanese government has to unofficially cancel the Tokyo Olympics this summer, which has been threatened by the spread of the new coronavirus infection, reported that it is moving toward holding in 2032. The Summer Olympics will be held in Paris in 2012 and in Los Angeles in 2016. Thomas Bach, chairman of the International Olympic Committee (IOC), said at an informal meeting held for IOC members by telephone on the 21st, there are voices strengthening to implementation due to the influence of the new coronavirus this summer. Regarding the Tokyo Olympics, the policy to hold it as scheduled to start on July 23 was reiterated. We just talk about how we can do it, not whether we do it or not, he said. A person concerned revealed. Regarding the possibility of limiting the number of spectators as a measure against the new corona, Chairman Bach said the Japanese side wants to do it with full capacity, but the day will come when we will have to decide what to do. As a future task, he pointed out securing a large amount of vaccine necessary for supplying more than 10,000 participating athletes and related parties. The IOC will hold a meeting for the National and Regional Olympic Committees, NOC, on the 22nd and for each international sports organization, IF, on the 25th. Skeptical voices are spreading among domestic and foreign sports officials, such as Mr. Pond, an IOC member, saying that he is not sure about the Tokyo Olympics. When the athletes are found to be positive for the new coronavirus or have close contact with them at the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, which was postponed this summer, they will be asked whether they can participate or how the competition should be managed. The guidelines has not been yet clearly stated. In the interim arrangement of corona measures compiled by the government, the capital and the Games Organizing Committee in December last year, inspections are conducted at intervals of 4 to 5 days in principle, in addition to when entering the country and when entering the Olympic Village, and are also conducted before the match. Then basically, positive people are not allowed to participate. Considering the possibility of false positives if there is no symptom and a positive result is obtained, we will consider measures such as admitting participation if the retest is negative. Continued discussions on the treatment of the close contacts. The organizing committee is considering the intentions of each international sports federation. Brooks, the Wizard coach to whom Rui Hachimura belongs at the American Basketball Association (NBA), responded to an online press conference on the 21st, and 9 people, more than 8 people required to hold the Spurs game on the 24th, will practice. It was revealed that he participated. "We are lacking in strength, but we have a small chance," he said. Wizards has been postponed for 6 consecutive games, with multiple players including Hachimura subject to the new coronavirus infection prevention regulations. The Men's World Championship for handball was held in Cairo on the 21st, and Japan in the second league lost to the Argentina 24-28, with a total of 1 draw and 2 losses from the first league. They have 1 point, eliminating the possibility of advancing to the quarterfinals. Even if he wins 2 games in the remaining 2 games, he cannot be included in the top 2 teams in the same group. Japan suffered from the opponent's strong defense and turned back the first half at 13-17. I couldn't close the gap in the second half. On the 23rd, we'll play against the previous champion, Denmark. On the 21st, in the English Premier League of Soccer, Liverpool's Takumi Minamino played for the first time in 5 games from the 39th minute of the second half, chasing 1 goal against Burnley at home. There was no show and the team lost 0-1. Liverpool has lost in their home league match for the first time in 69 games since April 2017. And that's all for today. See you next week for another news update.